Alright, hello everybody. It is a wonderful little Saturday here where we are recording from beautiful sunny Japan. The weather is warming up. We are finally getting out of winter-ish times. And soon the cherry blossoms will be blooming. I think it's like March, maybe April. Anyway, so today we are here to talk about a couple of things, 6-star weapon farm as well as the new trial event. We're going to take a slight tour through that, talk about the reward, and just go from there. So first of all, let's talk about 6-star weapons. 6-star weapons are incredibly limited at the moment here on the Japanese side. Making them requires, as I covered in my previous video, not that much extra in terms of commitment, but in terms of the power level, there can definitely be significant advantages to specific units who are looking for specific bonuses on their weapon. For instance, for one example I'm looking at right now is this. This weapon, it's, for instance, 1,000 damage cap increase, which can be potentially really good when you're in a guild, guild battle, guild war, the one where you're fighting all the bosses and trying to do as much damage as possible. Pretty good for certain units when they are in massive chains, so there are really big advantages. Interestingly, however, there is always an exception to the rule, and here is our exception. The Brotherhood. The Brotherhood, for example, this was one I didn't get to talk about in my previous video. 184 attack now, 47 magic. I don't remember if it had slightly lower attack, but I think it's been adjusted to be slightly better, especially through this. 30 increase to water damage. Really nice sword. Really brings Titus's DPS up quite nice. But as you can see, it's not a +6, it's a +1. So that's just kind of funny. I assume that we'll see this for Rain's sword as well in the future. Because that's an old piece of equipment that could probably use an upgrade, and it will also be a +1 since it was a slightly different way that you got that weapon. But there you go. That's how that's being handled. One thing we did not cover in the previous video is how you are able to farm the necessary things to create them, and so far it is through this. It is a specific shop with a specific type of equipment. So here you can see the cost of each of them. You have 2 for these, 5 for these, 10 for these, and 15 for the UR quality ones. URs you do need 10, so you would need 150 currency before you are able to build a single +6 UR piece of equipment. Needless to say, that's a pretty lofty ambition, I want to say. It's just a lot of work to end up crafting one of these, as it should be, since some of them have some pretty ridiculous bonuses thus far, but it is pretty limited right now. So if you're wondering about whether or not you should what you should save or whatnot, I mean, you should really keep an eye on the JP side. Keep an eye on what new pieces of equipment are coming out. Take a look at Wotv Calc, which will have all the data, of course, and really plan which ones you want to build, because it's very limited right now and there are no real money options to spend and just buy stuff. Unlike Chocobo Racing GP, but that's a different story for another video. So how do you get these coins? Well, it's by doing your arena, which is an interesting way of getting them, but it is just a way of potentially getting it. So you might want to save some arena pot refreshes for them. Yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of all I have to say about that. There wasn't much given to us at the start of it, and it seems like we're not going to be getting much for at least a little while until another major update. Maybe there'll be login bonuses in the future. Don't know, special event stuff. But yeah, you're very limited, or at least we are on the JP side, as to how much we are able to get. Now, into our main topic, we have to talk about this. The return of the Final Fantasy X trial event with slightly different things, and I do mean slightly different. You are able to still get Titus's necklace through the exchange shop in the Mog section. That is very easy, about 20 apiece per recipe, so if you haven't finished that before, you can finish it now. As for the piece of equipment that you will end up getting, let's scroll all the way down to my unfinished equipment. Fair bit of it. Somewhere in here. You can see the other sunglasses. I'm going to scroll by it a few times. Alright, well, into crafting. I know I have some +2s in there, but this is just faster. So here it is, orange sunglasses. As you can see, this is what you need to be able to craft a +5. There is no +6. 30% acquired AP boost for the unit that has equipped this, as well as 20 accuracy. Pretty nice piece of equipment. The AP generation could be used for a ton of different units, and the accuracy is just generally nice whenever you come up against evasion. So yeah, full recommendation that you are going to want to craft at least one +5 of this, because it's just pretty sweet. As for the event stages, there really isn't too terribly much to talk about here. They're pretty standardized. Bonus units, as you can see, which we will go back out here. Here's what is capable of being a bonus at different levels. You can see that there's a fair good selection of what you'll be able to do, and if you've previously done the Final Fantasy X event, then you should be well geared. Also, shout out to the fact that I never have seen the green symbol before, meaning that I actually have the unit. That's pretty nice. As for other things, you're just basically getting orange sunglasses off of here, 2 +2 versions, and in terms of the box, not really anything that is super worth noting here. The boxes look basically the same, and there was nothing particularly standing out different from the previous one that we've had on the JB side. There aren't even any parts in this thing, which, again, sad, because it would be nice to make some more +6 equipment and try out that system a bit more. But, continuing on, there are 2 bosses this time. First of all, we have the FF10 Unalesca boss. This is the easy boss this time. We'll just run through this one. And the other one is Balfour. As I have tested thus far, Balfour is kind of annoying with my selection of bonus units. There's a lot of enemies on the map, which makes your characters kind of, well, it makes their choices interesting, to say the least, against it. Unalesca is pretty harmless, mindful, of course, of the fact that there are a fair number of status effect things that she can do, which, sure, okay, but Una makes this fight pretty safe. Also, just a slight recommendation that you should probably get at least a little bit far into the water selection quest, as Rage has been a bonus unit. This just makes this pretty darn comfy. As for the Balfour fight, we'll just show it off. I'm just going to be doing it on auto. Of course, probably could. I have not maximized it yet, and that's just because of time restrictions this week and the fact that I usually wait a fair bit before I spend all my tickets. But let's show this off. Again, don't feel super under the biggest threat in this fight. Balfour definitely is way tougher and way more durable in terms of a battle, but also, well, my Rage chest could be finished. I really need to finish that water selection quest. And a matter of fact, we'll even pause and just show off some of the stats that we have to contend with here. So let's just take a look at Balfour for a second. As you can see, the normal amount of HP, he automatically casts haste at the beginning of battle. which can make him a little bit more of a pain to deal with. His stats are fairly okay, weakness to slashing and magic attacks, as well as darkness attacks. He does have a weakness versus slow and frostbite though, which is kind of interesting. I don't remember if Orin can do frostbite. It is escaping my mind at the moment, but if it can, might make for a just easier, comfier fight, or if you were to just throw in any unit capable of frostbiting. But as you can see, a lot of hate generation is on other enemies in here, which can just slow down the clear of this pretty much to a crawl. Not to mention that Valfor is one of those annoying espers that really likes to just play keep away. So, yeah, we're just gonna... He's 50% HP. We'll get there eventually. Titus's refusal to use his limit burst does drive me a tiny bit mad. Maybe we will just take over, because I kind of want to get that done if I haven't done it already. I would say, however, that having Yuna here does make this fight feel really, really safe, as you would kind of expect, but worth mentioning that there are a few things you can do to make this fight a little bit easier. Also, getting units to use actual bells seems to be a problem as well, because it just doesn't seem to want to happen. Hey, Ketone's slow. That's why I brought her. Before anyone asks, yes, that was totally intentional. See, we can't get much in the way of Mont here, but we could use a slash, so let's do that a little bit. Lose a little bit of HP ourselves, but ultimately come out. See, computer, this is how you do it. See? Is that so freaking hard, computer? Alright, so yeah, the Valfor fight, not super scary. I'd say that Yuna makes this fight really easy, and there are probably some status effects that you could run to make it a lot more reliable. Slow seems to be a really good status effect to have, so I would even probably recommend Astoria, since he has a pretty reliable way of just casting slow all the time, which will make Valfor way easier to manage and way easier to auto. But yeah, there's a brief look at the new trial event and 6-star weapon farming. As of this moment, not too terribly much worth talking about, other than just the fact that it is all happening. But yeah, thanks for watching, take care, see you next time.